This is a very simple test. All you have to do is find a piece of paper and a pen, or you could pull up your phone from your pocket. Or if you really don't want to, fine, be lazy, but it's not as fun. Then I'm going to present 10 different questions. Keep in mind very difficult questions of which you're not supposed to know the answer. But you have to write a low value and a high value of which you're 90% sure that the true answer lies somewhere in between. If I ask you, for example, how many NBA championships has the Chicago Bulls won? You'd write an interval where you're 90% sure that the true amount of times they've won lies. So, if you're a dedicated American basketball fan who really knows his sports facts, you'd maybe guess a slimmer interval of between 4 and 7. While a Vietnamese rice farmer who has never touched a basketball in his life would guess between 0 and 20. You can go as high or as low as you'd like, as long as you think you're about 90% sure. And feel free to pause the video if you haven't written down your answer before the timer reaches 0. So, without further ado, let's start. How many Earth years does it take Pluto to complete one orbit around the Sun? What is the population of the Faroe Islands in 2024? What is the height of the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa? And this question can be answered in both meter and feet. What is the weight of the heaviest man in the world, John Minnock? This can be answered in both kilograms and pounds, or even stones if you're British. What is the number of books in the Old Testament? What is the atomic number of gold? How many words are there in the English version of Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace? How many minutes was the longest recorded tennis match in history? What is the 10,000th prime number? What is the deepest constant weight freedive done by a woman without oxygen, per 2024? This can be answered in both meters and feet. So, let's take a look at the answers. Go through the list with me and make a little tick if the answer is within your interval, and a little cross if it isn't. For the first question, Pluto takes about 248 Earth years to revolve around the Sun. The population of the Faroe Islands is 54,642 people. The Burj Khalifa is 828 meters tall, or 2,720 feet. The weight of the heaviest man in the world, John Minnock, is 635 kilograms, 1,400 pounds, or a clean 100 stone if you're British. The number of books in the Old Testament is 39. The atomic number of gold is 79. And in Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, there are 587,287 words. The longest recorded tennis match lasted for 665 minutes, or 11 hours and 5 minutes. The 10,000th prime number is 104,729. And finally, Alessia Cecchini dived 123 meters or 403 feet down without oxygen. So, how many did you get right? If you've been true to the test and given an interval that you are 90% certain the answer would lie in, you should have about 9 correct answers. Of course, due to random error, it could be 8 or 10 or even less. But this means that if enough people answer this test, the test results should follow a normal distribution around 9 correct answers, meaning that most people got 9 correct, followed by 10 and 8, and then less people with 7 and so on. But as it turns out, that's not quite the case, as I'm guessing a lot of you got 4 or 5 correct, meaning an estimated distribution of the actual amount of correct answers would look something like this. Our sense of confidence is simply wrongly calibrated. When we think we're really certain of something, we might not be as certain as we think. A big thanks to Erik Kampmann at Copenhagen Business School for inspiring and helping out with this video.